All right. Good evening, everyone. Hey, Deborah. Hey, Natasha. Hey, Dorielle. Oh, that's a great question, Dorielle. Let's get that on the screen. Awesome. Thank y'all for being patient and waiting for me. Just had got my hair done, so sometimes it takes a while for the braids to get done. So thank you for your patience as I race through the streets of Brooklyn to get home. And thank you for letting everyone know, Natasha. Good evening. How is everyone doing? I don't know about y'all, but it's like chilly over here in New York already, and I was not ready for this transition. How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome in, welcome in. So, just a couple of housekeeping rules. Not housekeeping rules, a couple of housekeeping items, just in case. Um, I will be on vacation for 2 weeks, so we are going to start tonight with the start of commandment number 9, and then when I come back we'll pick up with finishing out commandment 9, and then we'll have 2 more weeks to do commandment number 10, and then wrap up. Then we'll start on my book in November, Think, Learn, and Feel Rich. So hopefully you have a copy. Yes, Doriel, it was not. Yes, it was cold. Okay, I'm so glad I had this jacket on. So, actually, so anyone in the chat, anybody implemented one of the commandments? So if you want to, I'll quickly recap what the commandments are. So, commandment 1 is always be an asset to your family. Commandment 2 is buy black wherever possible. I literally just got my hair and nails done at a black-owned salon today. I've been at black-owned establishments all day today. Commandment 3 is Black wealth training, must be a rite of passage. Commandment 4 is create fertile economic soil for your family. Commandment 5 is invest in healthy relationships and maintain them. I would definitely say I have done that one. Commandment 6, keep it all in the family whenever possible. And Commandment 7 is capital must be preserved, protected, and efficiently used. Commandment 8 is always plant seeds for the future. And today we're going to start Commandment 9, always leave a worthy inheritance. So anyone else feel like they've done any of the commandments? So great question, Dorio. Thank you for that food for thought. I'd love to know in the chat. So while you're thinking about which commandments, yes, Natasha, excellent. I'm so proud of you, sis. Very good, very good, excellent. So Natasha has done number 5 so far. So which one is that one? So number 5 is invest in healthy relationships. Yes, you have, Natasha. Thank you for being one of the amazing people in my life. I appreciate you. So let's jump in. We are on commandment number 9, page 167. Always leave a worthy inheritance. And again, thank y'all for hanging out for a few minutes. I really appreciate it because I know time is valuable, right? We can't get time back. So hopefully we're able to grab a snack or something in during that time. So with commandment number 9, where he talks about leaving a worthy inheritance, I really appreciated this chapter because he broke down what a good inheritance, a strong inheritance looks like, right? And I was so privileged to see my grandfather actually do this in real life. And so, this hit home for me. Oh, thanks, Natasha. So he said on page 167, he says large amounts of wealth are typically accumulated across multiple generations. And then he goes on to give this breakdown of a rectangle and how a rectangle represents wealth. Right? He said, think of wealth like a rectangle. And he says that the width of the rectangle is the number of relatives that are working towards the same goal. So let me know in the chat, besides yourself, if it's just you, put a 1 in the chat. If it's you and other family members or maybe even friends that are working together to build wealth, put that number in the chat. So maybe it's you and a group of 4 other friends, so then it will be 5. Okay, so that will be your wealth building width. Then he goes on to say the height is how much time you have or how much time you and those particular people put in towards building wealth. So I know my grandfather put in probably 60 years 65 years to build the wealth that he accumulated for his children. Awesome, Natasha. Thank you. Anybody else want to share in the chat? So basically, if it's just you on a wealth journey right now, put a 1 in the chat. If it's you and some other people, put the total of you and how many other people are working together as a team to build wealth. So right now, I will probably say, hey Jen, I'm so glad you could make it on tonight. So I don't know. I'm not sure what my number is for many reasons. So I know, I'm married, so I know my husband's family is doing things. So, they do great. But I'm not really involved in it, so I don't necessarily count it. But they are doing wealth building things, that's for sure. So the next part of your wealth rectangle is your height as time. So Jen, you could put this in the chat. I know you and your family do this. So how many of you all are working towards the same wealth goal in your family? So is it 5 of y'all, 10 of y'all, 15 of y'all? And then the height is how much time. So if you've been working on wealth building for 5 years as a family, let's just say, then put a 5 in the chat. If you just started your wealth building journey last year, put a 1 in the chat. So how long have you yourself, or you and your team, which could be your family or friends, been working towards building your wealth? So, like if it was like me and my husband, it would be, I would say 2 years for us, because, we're new baby, we're newborn. So think about that. And so he says that this wealth rectangle, so basically it's the number of people times the length of time y'all have been working on building wealth. He was like, that's your wealth rectangle. And he was just comparing, like, if it's just you and you've been working on wealth for 3 years, well, you don't want to compare yourself to someone who's been working on wealth for 200 years, right? Because you guys are at a different playing field. Hey there, Terry in Virginia. So glad y'all could join tonight. Welcome in. So we're talking about the wealth rectangle. This is under commandment number 9, page 167 through 168. And I was saying I really appreciate how Dr. Boyce broke this down, because it really shows me how I got married later in life. And I really do believe, like, for example, my friends that got married early, they were able to build wealth faster, because they say if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go farther, go together. And I saw how my married friends were accumulating wealth a lot faster. Like, I bought my own house later in life because it took me some time to build the capital, because I didn't have anybody to split my bills with. And so it really does make a difference having a solid core team who actually has the same ideals that you have and want to build together, because you can go farther when you build together. Oh, thank you, Miss Deborah. You inspire me, honey. So, he says on page 168, wealth typically comes from 2 things: a large group of people working together to acquire wealth over a long period of time. So basically, we need time and we need a team. Team and a time. That's what we need to build wealth. I mean, that's pretty simple if you ask me, right? And then we already went over this, but he asked, what's the size of your wealth rectangle? So some of our sisters have shared in the chat. Yeah, I get that, Jen. It is hit or miss sometimes, right? Like, I wish I could do it with my family, but not. We're not all of the same mindset. And you can't just be entering into business deals with people that are not on the same page, because you don't want to put your money in and next thing you know, somebody then spent it or is gone, And then on the bottom of page 168, he says, what does a worthy inheritance look like? So I just want to share my story. And that's okay, Terry. That was me for a long time. I was solo dolo. It was just me trying to figure it out. And I actually did my net worth today while I was getting my pedicure. And so I was like, okay, this is okay, but we're building more, because now I'm in a partnership, right? So me alone is like, it's okay. But me with my husband, it's like, oh, we gotta do this so bad because we're dinks. Have y'all heard of dinks? Dual income, no kids. That's us. And so somebody was like, wait, are you that thing? They said that to me the other day, and I was like, you mean a dink? I was like, yeah, that we are. They're like, oh, that's so cool. So anyway, I guess I'm the only one who appreciates that. But yes, I am a dink. Um, and so he says, are the people I love going to be economically better off after I've gone than they would be otherwise? So let me tell y'all my story. So my why behind why I do what I do not have any childrens. I ain't got no kids. Yes, that's right, Virginia. We a dink. Yep. Come on, dinks. Dinks in the house. What? um, basically, my why it has to do with my husband, of course, but then also my niece and two nephews. So my sister, my parent, I grew up in a two-parent household. For those of you who don't know, grew up in the hood. I'm from Inglewood, California. Inglewood, that's where I'm from, born and raised. And I used to be a school counselor. My students would be like, "Miss, but you're not ghetto though." I was like, you don't have, just because you're from the hood don't mean you have to act hood, right? I was like, but anyway, I told, for me, my parents did great. Like my sister and I went to private school, but basically if we wanted to go to college, they were like, okay, well, you got to kind of figure that out. So we had to go, the student loan route, the financial aid route, for me, the student loans really hit hard in grad school, not so much undergrad. It was practically free back then. So I didn't really pay a lot of money for undergrad, but I had a lot of student loans for grad school. And essentially, my why, which goes back to what Dr. Boyce is talking about, is that I don't want my niece and nephews to ever have a student loan or have to pay rent. And here's why. So Dr. Boyce breaks this down in the book. He says, so what does it mean to leave a worthy inheritance for your family? The first thing he says, this is on page 169, third paragraph. He says, one example might be making sure your kids are in a position to acquire property after you die. So I was in my wealth group the other day and someone was talking about buying affordable housing in a college town. So I was like, well, my niece is about to go to college in maybe like 3 years. I was like, you know what? Maybe I will invest in some property around the college that she goes to. She can rent it out to her friends who she wants to be her roommates, and we could split the profit. And she could be the property manager if that's what she wants to do. So that's something I'm thinking about. I'm like, okay, I got 3 years to build this capital because she's about to go to school. I can help with the room and board. Her parents can help with the tuition, right? And we win it. That's how I'm thinking, right? I want them to be able to enjoy it. I want to see them enjoying the inheritance while I'm still alive, right? Not just when I've passed away. And then he says, bottom of page 169, he says, another measure of whether your inheritance is adequate is whether your kids can quit their job if they want to. So y'all know for my 40th birthday, I quit my job. That was my gift to myself. And I remember, now my dad is the one who taught me to be an entrepreneur. And I remember he was like, you gonna give up that good job? And I was like, but Dad, didn't you raise me to be an entrepreneur? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna quit. I was like, you taught me how to make money. I've been making money since I was 12, 10, probably before that. Yes, let's do it, Doriel. Come on, come join me. Let's do it. Right? Because kids, a lot of kids, well, if you went to like my school, well, me and Jen, Bruins in the house, Jen and I, you couldn't really live on campus past the second year because they didn't have enough space for the number of students. So a lot of us had to move off campus unless you were like an RA or something. So there's like what I would do some research. I actually used to be a director of college counseling. So I'm very familiar with how, colleges and who has enough dorms, who doesn't. That used to be my old life. And basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find the colleges that have a shortage on housing and I'm gonna buy in that area. I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. So feel free. Anybody want to join me, you let me know. We can go in on it. So the one thing that when I quit my job, I was very confident in my ability to make money. Like because I was taught from a young age how to create money. Like Dr. Boyce talks about this all the time. To me, just having a job, that's not the only way to get money, right? Yeah, that's smart, Jen. Yeah, that's definitely a good look. He says also page 170, a parent who loves their children enough to leave more than $100,000 in life insurance per child. If you don't have life insurance, hit me up or hit somebody up and we can help you get some life insurance to leave an inheritance for your children. Because imagine if your parents, like if your parents had left you with $100,000 just to start out. You can use that for property, you can invest it. Man, I know, Jen, it's rough. Like that capital makes a difference. Yep, exactly, Dorio. Next generation. Because the Bible says leave an inheritance to your children, to your children's children, and your children's children after them. So we want to create that long money, that generational wealth. And that next part of that statement says, or various assets through a trust. I cannot emphasize to us enough how important, there we go, how important it is to have an estate plan in place. And do it while you're young, while you are in your right mind. Please do. Yep. I know, Jen, I already know. Because my house in LA, I think my parents paid $180,000 for it. It's worth $900,000 now. That's the house I lived in when I went to UCLA. So my parents actually modeled what I'm talking about. They bought a house for me when I was in sophomore year. So when I moved out, I moved into a house. I helped pay the mortgage. And I had a roommate, and I lived in the hood. I lived in South Central LA, and I commuted to school. But guess what? I was building equity. Now, unfortunately, my parents sold it, which is very unfortunate because it's almost worth $1 million. But you live and you learn, right? Then finally, he says a third measure of whether your inheritance is good enough is if your child can escape the liquidity trap. So this goes back to what Jen said, like being outbid by $30,000. Capital is so crucial when you're trying to make investments, right? Like imagine if Jen had another $50,000, she would have easily got that property. So having that capital and putting your kids in a position to have that capital, like Dr. Boyce talks about today, if you want to be a millionaire and you give him 30 years, that's easy. So you definitely need that time. And then he said, how can you leave a worthy inheritance? And then I'm going to wrap up here because I know a lot of us go to Dr. Boyce's book clubs. He said, the first thing is the $5 a day investing plan. And you can learn more about that on his website. Very good, average of $35 per week in an S&P 500 index fund for 25 to 30 years. Then he said a second thing you can do is buy life insurance. Again, if you need help with life insurance, I'm happy to help you out. Let me know. That is one of my specialties. He says the amount of the policy should be enough to pay all the bills and put the kids through college. And then he said the last step, which I cannot emphasize enough, is making sure that your finances are in order in your estate plan. That's on page 171. And a complete estate plan, I'm going to say this again, just, so we remember, is your will, your ancillary documents like your HIPAA statement to release your medical records in case you're incapacitated, your medical directive, your power of attorney, and if you have minor children, guardianship papers. And then the last part is your overall your trust. So your will, your ancillary documents, and your assets all go into your trust. So if you do need a trust, again, you can hit me up. I'm going to put my website. Well, my website is on the screen at the top right corner of my website. You can book a complimentary consultation. And if you need an estate planning attorney, I will get you a complimentary consult, and I get you a discount on setting up your trust because I work with a team of estate planning attorneys. So definitely consider these things. It takes time. That's why my business is called Beyond the Busyness, because I want us to stop being so busy that we don't keep the main thing, and take care of these things. So the next generation and the generations after them don't have to start from scratch like some of us did. So with that, thank y'all for joining me tonight. I know we were on for a short amount of time, but I'll be back in 2 weeks after my vacation. I hope to see you all there. We're going to finish up chapter 9 when I come back in 2 weeks. Don't forget about me when I'm gone, okay? I will still be having my newsletter sent out to y'all with tidbits. So if you're not on the mailing list, you can go to beyondthebusyness.com. It'll be a pop-up and you can join the mailing list and get some free financial wisdom. Okay. Awesome. Oh, thank you, Jen. Well, y'all stay awesome and have a blessed night. And thank you, Natasha. I will enjoy every minute of my vacation. Thank you, Terry. I'll be posting pictures. So if you are on social media, follow me at Beyond the Busyness. I will be in London, Croatia, and Thailand. So you will see many different climates and many different things. All right, y'all. Have a good night. And hopefully I'll see you in Dr. Boyce's book study. Oh, thank you, Deborah. Oh, your homework. So your homework is to do one of the commandments. I love it. I love it. Make sure you are frozen. Okay. Life insurance or a trust. Get on my calendar from when I get back so I can help you out with that. All right. Awesome, everyone. Thank you, Miss Doriel. All right. Bye, y'all. Thank you, Virginia. Good night.